Hello, I'm Brenda and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I'm cooking supper and where I'm cooking a chuck roast for our supper, and I'm going to show you how I make my chuck roast in an Instant Pot. Now I love the Instant Pot. I spent some time at my daughter's house and she had one. While I was there at her house, she showed me how she was using it, and I just love my Instant Pot. It saves me time, and it cooks all meats, and even I do my pinto beans now in my Instant Pot. Everything is just easier, and I think better when it's cooked under that pressure that the Instant Pot has. So basically, an Instant Pot is an electric pressure cooker, and I had a pressure cooker when I was first married, but I rarely use it, and now I don't even need it. So let's get started. I'm going to start by cutting my chuck roast in half. Now, this is about a 2.5 pound chuck roast. Um, and there's just three of us here, and we're all fairly small eaters, especially when it comes to meat. We're not big meat eaters, although we do like a good roast once in a while. And this is Saturday night, so I'm going to cook the roast for supper tonight, and then tomorrow, being Sunday, we can have some maybe leftover roast for sandwiches, roast sandwiches for lunch tomorrow after church. All right, so that is done, and now I'm going to wash my hands before I salt and pepper it. Anytime you handle raw meat, it's very important to wash your hands. Put salt and pepper on one side, and now I'm going to add salt and pepper to the other side as well. Just a little salt and pepper, just about out of pepper, so it's not coming out very. All right. So the next step, though, is to sear the sides. Now, I didn't always do this when I cooked in a crock pot, but it is partly what makes a roast so good is to sear each of the sides, and that is going to make all the juices and the fat and deliciousness stay inside that roast and keep it from drying out. So we're going to do that next. I can put my hand down in here and feel it's beginning to heat up now. So I think maybe we can put this in. Yes. You hear that searing sound? That's what we want to hear. Want to make sure your pot's hot when you sear this. And I'm going to put both pieces in side by side. And I'm going to let them sear about 2 minutes per side. So in 2 minutes, we'll come back and we will flip this over and then cook it 2 more minutes on the other side. Okay, it has been 2 minutes. So now I'm going to flip them. Oh. And you can see that it has browned the meat. This one is sticking a little bit, but it will come up. And both sides are flipped. And then I will cook it for 2 more minutes on this side. And we'll be back. All right, both 2 minutes is up, and now I'm going to take my roast out of the thing. I think I'm going to do that one a little bit more. Maybe shove it up against the edge, my brown. After I let this brown for just a little bit more on the other side, I'm going to, what I'm going to add is 2 cups, or about 1.5 cups of basically water that I have heated, and added to it 1 package of beefy onion soup mix. And when I this will be ready now. I'm going to take this piece out as well, and then I'm going to deglaze. I'm still going to leave the saute function on at this time, and then basically I'm going to pour in about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of beefy onion soup. And then I'm going to use that. I'm going to deglaze the bottom of this pan. And this part's very important because with the Instant Pot, if you don't get it completely deglazed as it cooks, the Instant Pot will think it is burning. And so it will then stop cooking your cooking. So you have to really do this part good and make sure all of that, anything that was stuck to the bottom from where you were sauteing your meat or searing the meat has to come up. So I'm just making sure I get all of it off. I don't want to have it to think it's burnt at my machine here to think it's burning. You know, sometimes they think they're smarter than you. But okay, I think I've gotten all of it. And then once I get that the pan deglazed, all I'm going to do is put my roast back into the pan. You can see it's going to cook in that liquid. Chuck roast is a tougher cut of meat, so it cooks better in liquid. And now we're going to put the lid on. And I need to make sure that my vent is set in the right position for pressure cooking. Now I would like to show you here how I'm going to set. I'm going to cancel. You can see I'm going to cancel the saute function, and then we're going to pressure cook for 10 minutes. And then it will take it a little while, a few minutes. I said 10 minutes. No, I'm going to pressure cook it for 60 minutes. It's not quite that fast. Let's see. I'm going to cancel that. Start over. Pressure cook. And I'm going to pressure cook for 60 minutes. I have had roast and I would pressure cook them for 50 and they were not always done. So I'm going to go ahead and pressure cook 60 minutes. So 1 hour. And after the end of 1 hour, I will let the pressure release naturally for 10 minutes. And so we're started. Notice it's on, but it's really not started cooking yet. Once it begins cooking, the Instant Pot will actually come up and say 1 hour, and it will count down so you can see where you are in the process. So in about an hour and 10 minutes, we'll come back and take our roast out of the oven. And in the meantime, I plan to cook some carrots and potatoes in the oven with this, and maybe I'll even mix up pie. So hope you'll be back in a little bit and see how our roast turns out. As you can see, my pressure cooker is now been releasing the pressure naturally for 10 minutes. So now I'm going to press the button and I'm going to release the rest of the pressure by pressing the release button, and steam will be released. And then I will not open the lid until the steam pressure gauge back here has completely dropped. That really isn't a lot of steam coming out if you've ever used a pressure cooker, but I still will let that steam release. There's a little pressure valve up here and it will eventually drop. And that's when I know that it's safe to open my pressure cooker. If you tried to open the pressure cooker right now, it basically might blow up in your face, or the whatever's inside might come out, if it would even let you open it, because it is definitely under some very high pressure. Okay, it just dropped, so it didn't take but a few seconds for that to happen. So now it's safe for me to open my pressure cooker. And here, I'm going to back this up a little bit now so you can kind of see a little more about what I'm doing. And I'm just going to lift off the lid, that over my sink, and then I'm going to remove my roast out of there and put it back in my pan. So, it smells delicious. I wish this video you could came with smells because it smells delicious. All right. So now there's my roast. I'm going to let that sit there. What I want to do though now is I'm going to use the pressure cooker to actually make my gravy. So I'm going to use what's left in there and to make kind of a roast gravy. There's a little more liquid than I want to use though. So I'm going to pour that up into this measuring cup, and I'm just going to leave about maybe a cup and a half of liquid in there. And I'm just guessing that's plenty of soup gravy for us. We won't need a whole lot of gravy. So, and I'll set this aside. And then I'm just going to now use the saute function here on my pressure cooker to make my gravy. So I'm going to cancel my pressure cooker, and then I'm going to start by making a slurry. I guess I should back that up a little more, so maybe I'm not just cutting my head off. So now I'm going to make a slurry. And when I make my gravy for my roast, I like to just use cornstarch for that gravy because it's not like a milk gravy, and it's not an exact measure. So I'm going to just use kind of a couple of spoonfuls of cornstarch. It's probably a little more than 2 tablespoons, just a little bit of cornstarch. And then I'm going to mix that with just water till it's all mixed together. And I don't want to use a lot of water because it's just going to make my add water liquid to my broth that I just did. So that basically is a little slurry. It's just water and cornstarch. And then I'm going to go ahead and just mix that in to the broth that's left in the pan. And I'm going to turn the saute back on. And we're just going to cook that now until it thickens just a little bit. I don't like my roast gravy, or the gravy on my roast, I don't like it to be very thick. I kind of like a thin gravy for my roast. So we're just going to stir this just for a little bit. Here, let me see. You can see inside my pan a little bit. So, and honestly, it will thicken up pretty quickly. If you're doing it and it's not getting thick enough, it's thick enough like you'd like, you can always up your ante by doing another little bit of a slurry and adding that back in. But mine seems to be coming together pretty good. Give it a little bit more time to cook, and then we'll have perfect gravy. All right, I think that's enough. And then I'm just going to pour my gravy up into my gravy bowl. And always keep in mind your gravy, as it cools, will get thicker. So, and like I said, it's just really still very kind of it's not very thick, I should say. All right. So later when we will eat, we'll have gravy to pour over our roast. And this is our delicious crock pot roast. And I have made, let me bring this over. Also, while my roast was cooking in the crock pot, the instant pot, I need to turn that off. Cancel that, it was still cooking. I have made carrots and potatoes. So tonight's supper is delicious. It's like Sunday dinner, isn't it? We've kind of quit cooking Sunday dinner around here. We most often cook Saturday night dinner around here, and then we eat the leftovers for Sunday lunch. But this is supper's ready, And I've got a easy refrigerator pie in the oven, which you can check that recipe out also. And I can't wait to eat. So I hope you enjoyed this, and this helped you to help you learn the easy way to cook a roast in Instapot. And you could do this same procedure in the crock pot. You'll just have to cook your roast either 4 hours on high or 6 to 8 hours on low to get it done. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Uh, I hope it works out. I'm still working on the editing and all the skills, but I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And I made a schedule today of all the videos I'd like to make, and I'm really excited to be a part of that and a part of helping beginners learn to make things that are easy, and maybe even add some things that I know because of my background in home economics. And I hope you've enjoyed this lesson from the homemaking teacher. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.